Thank you. I will now introduce today's witnesses. Michelle K. Lee is the former director of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and former Undersecretary of Commerce for Intellectual Property. In that role, Mrs. Lee was the principal advisor to the President through the Secretary of Commerce on domestic and international intellectual property policy matters, and is the first woman to serve as the director of the PTO, USPTO, in the country's 220-plus year history. She is also a veteran of Silicon Valley, experienced in scaling fast-growing companies with disruptive technologies, and an expert in intellectual property. She was the Deputy General Counsel for Google, and before that worked at the law firm of Fenwick and West, LLP. She currently serves as a public company board of directors for Alarm.com, a provider of a cloud-based software as a service solution. Before building her legal career, Mrs. Lee worked as a computer scientist at Hewlett-Packard Research Laboratories, as well as at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. She holds a BS and also an MS in Electrical Engineering and Computer Science from MIT, as well as a JD from Stanford Law School. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Johnson, Ranking Member Roby, and members of the subcommittee. It's a pleasure to be with you here today, and thank you for hosting a hearing on such an important topic. Invention is a cornerstone of America's continued economic prosperity and well-being. Our world faces numerous challenges, including global warming, food insecurity, and cybersecurity, but also a number of attractive opportunities, including finding new cures for diseases and providing greater mobility for those with disability. But solving those problems will require all the talent and all the ingenuity that we can muster. Yet, when it comes to technological innovation, we are rowing with one hand behind our back. We've all seen the numbers. The percentage of women who are awarded patents in the US is extremely low, anywhere from 12 to 21%, depending upon the study and depending upon how you count. And one recent study indicated that at this rate, it would take 118 years for us to reach parity in gender in terms of patenting. Why are the numbers so low? Number one, fewer girls and fewer women pursue STEM careers, and even those that do face high attrition rates. There are a myriad of reasons for this, including differences in upbringing, societal expectations, fewer role models, unconscious bias, and even images in the media. Both these factors contribute to the low numbers in terms of women patent inventors. If you think about it, in order to earn a patent, you have to have a pretty good understanding of your field, the technology, and how a product or an invention or a process works. And then you have to come up with an insight that no one else has ever thought about how to make it better, faster, cheaper, more cost-effective. And these insights don't often come to you in your first several years of practice in the profession. So to the extent that women are leaving STEM careers earlier and at faster rates, that negatively impacts their patenting numbers. Another contributing factor is the way organizations solicit invention disclosures. Based upon my experiences as in-house counsel, there are generally two ways. First is a voluntary inventor-initiated submission. And second is a manager-initiated brainstorming session inviting the relevant team members to brainstorm to harvest the inventions. The latter method, manager-initiated brainstorming sessions, tended to be much more productive in terms of getting invention disclosures from women. Left to their own devices, women tended to discount the novelty and usefulness of their inventions and were less willing to dedicate the time to submit an invention disclosure and to process the patent application, and viewed such activities as extracurricular professional activities. This has implications on our economy. IP-intensive industries support 1/4 of all jobs in the US and make up 1/3 of our gross domestic product. So what can we do? Personally, as a woman who has spent her career in tech, and as the first woman head of the United States Patent and Trademark Office in our country's 200-plus year history, I felt a heightened calling to address some of the problems I had seen. This led me to launch, as Chairman Johnson said, the first all-in STEM initiative at the PTO. Its purpose to encourage more girls and more women to pursue STEM education so that they could become inventors, STEM leaders, and entrepreneurs. Programs included Camp Invention to teach our kids to design and build and create, a Girl Scout intellectual property patch to teach our young girls about IP and invention, workshops for women inventors and entrepreneurs so that they know of the resources and they have the support they need to carry out their work. But there are ways that all of us can contribute. In-house Patent Counsel can measure and track the relevant statistics and be thoughtful on how invention disclosures are gathered. We can all be conscious of the disparate ways in which we raise our boys and girls, from the toys they play with to the activities they pursue to our expectations of them. We can broaden the image of inventors by sharing stories of successful women inventors, mentoring students in STEM to the maximum interest and potential of these individuals. And within organizations that hire STEM talent, try to find ways to reduce unconscious bias and to recruit and retain these women. And if in alignment with your organization's priorities, including patenting as a factor to consider in the promotion and tenure decisions. I am not advocating for gender parity in patenting numbers simply for the sake of achieving parity. Rather, I believe we need to nurture, develop, and harness all of our nation's technical, innovative talents in whatever shape, age, gender, background, or other demographic in which it may come. As the title of your hearing suggests, our society and world cannot afford to leave behind any future Einsteins. Thank you. I'd be glad to answer your questions.